Nacho, Nacho Man, yeah. I got to be a Nacho Man, got to be a Nacho Man. I got to be a Nacho Man.
Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and we're back to finish our tour of Sturges Arcade here at Starlight Drive In. Piper and I have come to visit our good friends Sturges and Curie and their adopted son Joseph. I went into great detail on the backstory of this settlement in the last video. If you want the full story, you can check that out. In brief, though, Sturges and Curie found a pre-war structure in the form of an arcade here at Starlight Drive-In and have moved in and made it home. Last time we looked at the arcade itself in detail, and this time around we're going to take a look at some of the post-war structures that Sturges and Curie have built kind of after the fact and as part of making this place their home. Not a ton of stuff here, but you can tell that I'm already chugging, and that's because the Dance Dance Rebellion game that's inside takes a lot of processor resources. So if you have not checked out the Dance Dance Rebellion video, I would encourage you to do so. There's Curie manning the bar. We talked last time that she is a cook, but not a very good one on top of being a doctor. And the thing that we missed last time around was Drinkin' Buddy. Drinkin' Buddy was at Sanctuary when Sturges and good Lord, Buddy, what are you trying to do to Curie there? Drinkin' Buddy was at Sanctuary when Sturges and Curie were there, and they kind of, quote-unquote, borrowed him when they moved down here to Starlight, and I just kind of decided that I would overlook the fact and just let them have Drinkin' Buddy. They needed him more than I did. They are, after all, trying to run a bar and restaurant. I do find it annoying that Drinkin' Buddy always wants to stay either inside the diner area here or on the roof of Curie and Sturges' house there. They have set up a place for the caravanners to come through here. It looks like we've got a couple of them right now. There's a place where their Brahmin can get some food and a drink and glitch out, because that's just what Brahmin do. I have set up an area over here where the caravanners can lay out their wares and trade with people. There's a few people that have kind of moved in to the surrounding hills around here, and they do make a point to come down here and trade with the caravanners when they come through. There are still a number of cars and these drive-in speakers around here that Sturges just hasn't quite gotten around to scrapping just yet. He's been busy getting the arcade up and running. However, he did take time out to drag one of these travel trailers up here and put some beds inside of it, just as a place for the caravanners to get some sleep. There's nothing else in here, but again, just a place for the caravanners to get some sleep out of the weather if they're caught here at night. Unfortunately, those caravan guards are kind of assholes, and they put this sign up, and after all the effort that Sturges went to, it really did kind of hurt his feelings, but ultimately he decided that, that is the caravanners' space, and he has given it to them. They can do with it what they want. Sturges has set up a water purifier over here that is taking advantage of the natural spring that has bubbled up in the middle of the drive-in parking lot. It's not the biggest water purifier, but it's enough for Sturges and Curie, and it also gives them something else that they could sell to people that come through looking to trade with the caravanners or play the games at the arcade. Sturges has a little tinkerer shack out here. Curie uses it a little bit too with the chemistry station so that she can come out here and compound medicines for her doctoring that she does with the people that come through. But mostly this is Sturges's place. He's got a place to tinker with weapons, and he took that old T-45 power armor that I used to save the day back when we very first met Sturges and Preston in Concord. And I didn't need this suit anymore, so I went ahead and gave it to him. He's gone and fixed it up pretty well, and even added a coat of Minuteman paint. Of course, Sturges doesn't really use this armor in combat or anything. He mostly uses it for heavy lifting, like moving arcade cabinets around or other tasks around the settlement that we'll get into here in a minute. This other workbench is outside because, well, frankly, a open fire inside of a wooden shack seemed like, in general, a bad idea. I do have a Brahmin pen set up over here for Sturges and Curie. I so often run out of room in settlements, not only in size bar, but it's in actual physical space, that I often can't find a place to put in an actual Brahmin pen, so that was kind of nice, just having the room to be able to do that and have a place for their Brahmin. Joseph is Sturges and Curie's adopted son. Of course, them both being synths, they are not able to have children of their own, but they are raising Joseph as their own, and of course you are keeping your eye on me, Joseph. You always are. He's doing his morning chores in the vegetable patch. They don't take all day, and Sturges and Curie are doing the best that they can to give him an education, but they're starting to think that maybe it's time to send him to school down in Diamond City. He's smart enough that they're starting to get to the end of what they're able to teach him. I talked last time about found pre-war structures, and I did my best to try and match the textures of the drive-in projector tower and screen over there. And one of the things that I added as a quote-unquote pre-war structure here is this bathroom. I always found it strange that, it's this giant drive-in, and yet there is not a single bathroom anywhere. Like, were people supposed to just pee next to their car or what? So I decided to add a bathroom here. It is lit up at night. The men's room here is still just a disaster, and not much to say about it. They haven't bothered doing anything with it. But everybody around here shares the ladies. There's not enough to worry about having specific men's and ladies. And Sturges and Curie, along with a lot of other people, as they started moving out of Sanctuary, raided Vault 111 for supplies. And they were actually able to score a complete set of bathroom fixtures. And so they have a working bathroom that is hooked into the old sewer system for a drain, and the old water supply system is hooked into the water purifier over there, so they have an actual flushing toilet. Awesome for them, and also part of something I do in every settlement, that they all have to have a bathroom. This little shack is just the shack with the workshop bench in it. I didn't do anything with it to speak of, just because I have built in and around this thing a few times, and I find it, at this point, I've been there, I've done that, it's kind of boring and irritating, so I just couldn't be bothered for this time around. Set up a pole barn for the generator here, because I felt like that is something that you would probably want to do in the waste, and not have your generator just sitting out in the open. One thing that has always irritated me about these generators is that they are clearly fueled by some kind of liquid fuel, whether it's diesel, gasoline, fuel oil, whatever, and there's no in-game mechanic for keeping them full. And to some extent I realize that is probably not going to be fun, and yet still it does feel unrealistic that we have this giant generator with no fuel. So I have set up some fuel drums around here to try and give the impression that that is what's keeping the generator running. And in my head, Sturgis uses the power armor that he's got stored in his workshop shack over in the distance over there to move these drums around. Looks like he's got a couple empties out back here as well. In my head, they trade with the Caravanners for that fuel, and in fact, if you look carefully at the Brahmin models, you will see that most or all of them have at least one of those drums strapped to their back. So I just say that they're trading with the Caravanners to get their fuel. Now, where that fuel comes from remains a mystery. I may have to try and answer that with another settlement build some other time. Let's take a look inside of Sturges and Curie's home here. We've got one of those prefab shacks, and this was a nice excuse to use one since I was already running into a lot of trouble with chug and processor here. That means that using a prefab shack, I could just kind of cut down on resources and just do a little decoration inside and call her done. This is Joseph's room. He's, as I said, a studious boy, and they're thinking about maybe sending him to Diamond City for school. But until then, he lives here with his mom and dad, and Curie is just a glutton for books. They have traded for what, in the Fallout world at least, is a pretty extensive library. There's not many places in the Waste that have this many books around. They've got a nice living area over here, and a guitar that Joseph is teaching himself how to play, and some matching furniture even. Sturgis has promised Curie and Joseph that if he can ever manage to get that projector running and get an actual movie to play on it, that he will move his workshop shack there so that they have a clear view of the screen. You would actually have a pretty good view of the screen sitting on that couch there if the shack wasn't in the way. My inspiration for that is a place called the Movie Manor Inn. It is just one of the goofiest places I've ever stayed at. It's a little hotel in Colorado, and the gimmick is that you can watch the drive-in screen that is like it's a combination drive-in movie theater and hotel. And you can watch the drive-in movie from the comfort of your hotel room, and they even pipe the sound into the room. So it's not in the best of shape, and it's definitely showing its age, but is also definitely a relic of car culture and 50s gooky architecture that is very much at the heart of Fallout, and is absolutely one of the favorite places that I've ever stayed, even though it really wasn't all that nice these days. This is Sturgis and Curie's room. They've got a nice double bed that they share. And the final thing to look at in the house here is Curie, being the intellectual that she is, did for a while take up an interest in stargazing. And so she and Sturgis managed to trade with some folks calling themselves Hubologists that came out of Nuka World about a year ago. These kind of crazy cultists were very interested in one of the arcade cabinets that came out of the arcade there, that it had something to do with invaders from space. And so Sturgis traded them the arcade cabinet for the telescope, and just tried not to ask too many questions about their religion. Very last little thing I wanted to show was I am going to go ahead and summon some bad weather here, because I have set up some special lighting around here. It's something that I like to do in a lot of places. It helps give more of the impression that there's, life and movement to a settlement, to have your lights do things like turn on automatically right there. Did you see it? And so I've got the lights set on a timer. They turn on during the night and turn off during the day and turn on during bad weather, just like you would do with the lights in your house. And I have showed a tutorial on how to light an entire settlement. I think I called it like light an entire settlement in 5 minutes. And if you're interested in that, you can go take a look at it. I might do another kind of more advanced tutorial with these weather detectors to try and show how to make that happen. I do have an override switch here that I can use to just turn the lights on and off manually, or we can let it happen automatically, which is how I like to do it. If you missed the Dance Dance Rebellion video, this is the room with all the machinery and electronics that it takes to make that happen. I highly encourage you to go take a look at that video. I am pretty proud of how that working arcade game turned out. And that is it. That is the completion of our tour here at Starlight Drive In. Special thanks once again to Japic for challenging me to build Dance Dance Rebellion and giving me the seed of the idea that ended up turning into the entirety of the rest of the settlement. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. And if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. I have more content coming. Not sure exactly which place we're going to go to next, though. Not just yet, so that'll be a surprise. If you didn't like, please tell me why in a comment, and I'll try to do better for you next time. Until next time, my name is Nacho Bidness. I'm saying it's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.